The automotive world is changing fast, and one of the biggest battles happening right now is not about horsepower, speed records, or luxury features. Instead, it is about control. For years, companies like Bugatti have operated with extremely strict rules when it comes to repairs, servicing, and replacement parts. These rules were designed to protect their cars, maintain safety standards, and control how repairs are carried out. But now, new European Union right to repair laws are creating serious pressure on manufacturers that rely heavily on restricted repair systems. This situation became much more public after YouTubers Matt Armstrong and McCann shared their struggles while dealing with Bugatti vehicles. Their stories quickly spread across the internet because they exposed the difficulties owners and independent garages face when trying to repair some of the world's most expensive cars. What started as a normal rebuild project has now become part of a much larger conversation about customer rights, manufacturer control, and the future of luxury car ownership. Matt Armstrong's Bugatti Chiron rebuild became one of the most talked about automotive projects on YouTube because it challenged the belief that only Bugatti-approved facilities could repair these hypercars correctly. Matt was asked to rebuild a crashed Bugatti Chiron owned by FXG, and from the beginning the project looked almost impossible. Bugatti reportedly refused to provide support or supply certain parts for the rebuild. The company also made public comments explaining that a Chiron is such a complicated machine that only a very small number of trained technicians in specialized facilities should work on it. Bugatti argued that the car required unique tools, advanced knowledge, and factory-level equipment to ensure safety and proper operation. Many viewers initially believed the rebuild would fail because Bugatti's statements made the process sound nearly impossible outside official channels. But Matt Armstrong and his team decided to continue anyway. Instead of giving up, they started building solutions themselves. Skilled fabricators repaired damaged parts. Custom pieces were designed using advanced scanning technology, and specialists recreated components that Bugatti would not provide. The rebuild slowly turned into a symbol of independent engineering and determination. One of the biggest moments in Matt Armstrong's rebuild came when his team separated the Chiron in a regular garage using common workshop tools. Bugatti had previously claimed that this process could only be done in a few specialized locations around the world. Seeing the car successfully taken apart outside an official Bugatti facility shocked many viewers and started a major debate online. Some people praised Matt for proving that skilled independent mechanics can work on advanced hypercars without factory support. Others argued that Bugatti's concerns were still valid because safety standards for a 300-mile-per-hour vehicle should be taken seriously. During the rebuild, the team repaired the gearbox mounting bracket, rebuilt damaged radiators, and recreated the front structure using CNC machining technology. Every step of the process showed viewers that independent repair shops are often capable of solving highly technical problems if they have the right skills and determination. When the Chiron finally started successfully and the gearbox worked correctly, it became a major victory for the independent repair community. Millions of people watched the moment online, and many saw it as proof that manufacturers sometimes exaggerate the limits of what independent garages can achieve. While Matt Armstrong's project focused on rebuilding a crashed Chiron, McCann's situation exposed a different side of Bugatti ownership. Mark purchased what was described as the cheapest Bugatti Veyron in the world, a Mansur modified car that had been sitting damaged and partially disassembled for several years. The biggest issue with the vehicle was the gearbox. The transmission would not engage correctly. The car would not reverse, and no one fully understood what was wrong inside the unit. According to Bugatti's system, the gearbox is treated as a sealed component that cannot simply be opened and repaired like a normal transmission. Instead, the official solution was replacement. Reports suggested the cost of a replacement gearbox could range between $200,000 and $300,000, depending on the exact version required. For most people, even hearing those numbers sounds unbelievable. But what frustrated Mark even more was the difficulty he faced while trying to get basic information from Bugatti about pricing and availability. McCann documented weeks of trying to contact Bugatti dealerships and service centers. Calls were redirected between different locations, voicemails went unanswered, and promised callbacks reportedly never happened. For viewers watching the videos, this became one of the most shocking parts of the entire story. People expect luxury companies to provide exceptional customer service. especially when dealing with vehicles worth millions of dollars. Instead, the experience appeared slow, confusing, and frustrating. Mark even compared the situation with BMW, showing that he received a gearbox quote for an F80 M3 within minutes, while Bugatti still had not provided clear answers after weeks of communication. That comparison helped viewers immediately understand why the situation felt unreasonable. It was not simply about the high cost of the repair. It was about the lack of transparency and the difficulty of getting support. The more Mark explained the situation, the more viewers started asking questions about whether Bugatti's repair system was fair to owners who already spent enormous amounts of money buying these vehicles. Bugatti's position on the matter is based heavily on safety, liability, and quality control. The company builds some of the fastest and most advanced cars in the world, and mistakes during repairs could have extremely serious consequences. A Bugatti traveling at very high speeds places massive stress on every mechanical component, especially the drivetrain and chassis. From Bugatti's perspective, allowing inexperienced or unapproved workshops to repair these cars could create dangerous situations for owners and the public. If a repair fails at high speed, the results could be catastrophic. This is why Bugatti insists on highly trained technicians, factory-approved tools, and tightly controlled repair procedures. The company also wants to protect its reputation because even one major accident caused by improper repairs could damage the Bugatti brand worldwide. Many luxury manufacturers use similar systems, although Bugatti's policies appear stricter than most. While some viewers see the company as controlling, others believe these rules are understandable when dealing with hypercars that push engineering to extreme limits. The growing right to repair movement, however, argues that manufacturers should not have complete control over repairs after customers purchase a vehicle. Supporters of these laws believe owners should have access to parts, repair information, tools, and software needed to maintain their own property. They argue that companies sometimes use restrictions not only for safety, but also to protect profitable service businesses and maintain control over customers. This debate has existed for years in industries like smartphones, farming equipment, electronics, and standard automobiles. Now it is beginning to affect the world of luxury hypercars as well. The European Union's upcoming right to repair laws are expected to increase pressure on manufacturers to support independent repairers and provide better access to parts and information. These regulations are designed to reduce waste, extend product lifespans, and give consumers more freedom. If these laws are applied strongly to the automotive sector, companies like Bugatti may eventually have to change how they handle repairs and replacement parts. The Matt Armstrong and Mark McCann situations became so important because they transformed a complicated legal and technical issue into something emotional and easy to understand. Most people may never own a Bugatti, but many can relate to feeling blocked by a company when trying to repair something they paid for. The videos showed real frustration, unanswered phone calls, expensive replacement demands, and independent mechanics finding creative solutions. That combination made the stories very powerful online. Social media users quickly divided into different groups. Some fully supported the creators and accused Bugatti of protecting a monopoly over repairs. Others defended Bugatti and argued that hypercars should never be treated like ordinary vehicles because the risks involved are much greater. This debate spread far beyond automotive communities because it connected with larger concerns about consumer rights and corporate control. The stories became examples people use when discussing how modern companies limit repair access across many industries. Another reason these stories became so popular is because YouTube audiences love underdog narratives. Matt Armstrong rebuilding a Chiron without factory support created a strong, emotional storyline. Viewers watch a smaller independent team challenge a famous luxury manufacturer and succeed through creativity and hard work. Every repaired component and every successful test felt like a victory against impossible odds. Mark McCann's struggle created a different kind of emotional response because viewers saw how difficult even basic communication became when dealing with an exclusive brand. Together, the two stories painted Bugatti as a company that was distant, restrictive, and difficult to work with. Whether that image is completely fair or not, it was extremely effective for online storytelling. YouTube content often performs best when it combines expensive machinery, high financial stakes, strong personalities, and conflict between individuals and corporations. These Bugatti situations included all of those elements, which is why the videos attracted millions of views and huge discussions across social media platforms. If the European Union's right to repair laws become strongly enforced in the automotive world, manufacturers could face major changes in how they operate. Companies may be required to provide independent repair shops with technical manuals, software access, diagnostic tools, and replacement parts for longer periods of time. This could reduce repair costs and increase competition in the repair market. Owners would have more choices about where to service their vehicles instead of relying only on factory-approved centers. For ordinary cars, this could save consumers large amounts of money. For hypercars like Bugattis, the impact could be even bigger because repair costs are already extremely high. Independent specialists may eventually develop safer and more affordable ways to repair complex systems that manufacturers currently replace completely. On the other hand, manufacturers argue that forcing open access could create quality control problems and increase safety risks. They worry that unofficial repairs may not meet the same standards as factory work. This is why the coming years will likely involve major legal and business battles between manufacturers, governments, and consumer rights groups. The future of luxury and hypercar ownership may depend heavily on how this debate develops. For decades, owning a Bugatti or similar vehicle meant entering a world where the manufacturer controlled nearly every aspect of servicing and maintenance. That exclusivity was part of the brand's image. For ordinary cars, this could save consumers large amounts of money. For hypercars like Bugattis, the impact could be even bigger because repair costs are already extremely high. Independent specialists may eventually develop safer and more affordable ways to repair complex systems that manufacturers currently replace completely. On the other hand, manufacturers argue that forcing open access could create quality control problems and increase safety risks. They worry that unofficial repairs may not meet the same standards as factory work. This is why the coming years will likely involve major legal and business battles between manufacturers, governments, and consumer rights groups. The future of luxury and hypercar ownership may depend heavily on how this debate develops. For decades, owning a Bugatti or similar vehicle meant entering a world where the manufacturer controlled nearly every aspect of servicing and maintenance. That exclusivity was part of the brand's image. Customers paid enormous amounts of money not only for speed and luxury, but also for access to a tightly managed ownership experience. However, the internet and social media are changing how people view these systems. Independent creators can now document their experiences publicly and reach millions of viewers within days. Problems that once stayed hidden behind dealership walls are now becoming global discussions. Matt Armstrong and Mark McCann helped expose how difficult and expensive hypercar repairs can become when manufacturers maintain strict control over parts and service procedures. Whether Bugatti changes its approach or continues defending its current system, one thing is clear. The conversation around repair rights is only getting bigger. As new EU laws move closer to taking effect, companies across the automotive industry may soon face increasing pressure to balance safety, customer freedom, and corporate control in completely new ways as the debate around Bugatti, Matt Armstrong, and Mark McCann continues to grow online. It is important to understand that this situation is not only about a few broken cars or one manufacturer refusing service. It is actually part of a much larger global shift in how modern products are built, maintained, and repaired. The European Union's right to repair laws are designed to give consumers more control over product they own, and this includes access to spare parts, repair manuals, and diagnostic tools. In simple terms, the goal is to stop companies from completely locking customers into official repair systems. In the automotive world, this means independent garages could eventually gain more legal access to repair information that was previously restricted. For normal everyday cars, this could reduce costs significantly and make repairs faster and easier. However, when it comes to extreme hypercars like Bugatti, the situation becomes much more complicated. These vehicles are not only expensive, but also extremely advanced, with engineering systems that operate at the highest limits of speed and performance. Because of this, manufacturers argue that even small mistakes during repairs can lead to serious safety risks. This creates a direct conflict between two ideas: the right of the owner to repair their own property and the responsibility of the manufacturer to ensure the vehicle remains safe at extreme performance levels. As more cases like Matt Armstrong's Tire and Rebuild become public, this conflict becomes harder to ignore. It forces governments, companies, and consumers to ask a difficult question. Should ownership mean full control, or should safety restrictions always override that control when dealing with high-performance machines? Another major part of this discussion is the financial impact of manufacturer-controlled repair systems. When Mark McCann struggled to get a simple gearbox quote for his Bugatti Veyron, many viewers were shocked not only by the cost, but also by the lack of communication. In industries like this, delays and unclear pricing can create frustration because owners expect a premium level of service when dealing with such expensive vehicles. The difference between a normal performance car and a hypercar is not just price, but also the level of exclusivity in the repair process. Manufacturers like Bugatti often design their systems so that key components, such as gearboxes, are replaced rather than repaired. This approach ensures consistency and reduces the risk of faulty repairs, but also increases costs dramatically. A sealed gearbox that costs $200,000 to replace, even if only a small internal part is damaged, highlights how expensive this system can become for owners. Supporters of right to repair laws argue that this model is outdated in a world where advanced scanning, 3D printing, and precision engineering can allow independent specialists to repair or recreate parts safely.